Yo, what's up, y'all? This is Max Show MMA here. I'm back again with another video. Petr No Mercy Yan. That's what I gotta say. Listen, I got up about 6 a.m. in the US to watch this fucking card. This was an early ass card. Obviously, this card was in China. It was a really good card as far as results wise, but as far as marquee names, this didn't really have it. But it ended off with Petr Yan and Deiveson Figueroa. It was a great main event. I want to get into how Petr Yan looked, and I also want to get into the next possible matchups for Petr Yan. And in my opinion, it's only two possible matchups, but we'll get into that later. Petr Yan hasn't fought in over 8 months. His last fight was Song Yadong at UFC 300, I believe. It was a great fight by him. It was a great performance. He had a major injury that caused him to be out for 8 months. So now this was his return fight against Deiveson Figueroa. Figueroa is tough. He's on a winning streak. Obviously, he packed a lot of power. Let's get straight into it. Round one, Petr Yan, Deiveson Figueroa was just kind of filling each other out. Deiveson Figueroa, he initiated the grappling. As y'all know, Petr Yan is really good at defense. He's actually good at grappling and wrestling himself. He was actually able to counter Figueroa in the first round, got on top, landed some good elbows, landed some good shots. Kind of an uneventful first round, only because of the grappling and it wasn't a lot of damage taken. Round two is where they started to heat up at. Well, Petr Yan started to heat up. I mean, Petr Yan hit Figgy with some great knees to the body, some great kicks to the body. He started wearing down Figgy. You know, Figgy tried several times to initiate grappling. And again, Figgy doesn't have the best cardio, so he starts to weigh down a little bit as the fight go on. Petr Yan actually gets stronger as the fight go on. And that's what we started to see. I mean, Petr Yan started to piece him up. He damaged Figueroa up pretty good in that second round. And then we go on to the third round. And Petr Yan looked like he was finna finish Figgy multiple times. I mean, hit him with a jumping knee to the face. I mean, some great body attacks. I mean, just piecing Figgy up with great uppercuts in the clinch. Petr Yan clinch work was superb in this fight. I think he's been working on his clinch work because, in my opinion, I think he's been working on that for when he faces the Umar Nurmagomedovs of the world, the possible rematch with Merab Dvalishvili again. I think he's been working on that because he knows when he faces those heavy grapplers, he's probably going to be in a lot of clinch situations, and he's going to have to use that dirty boxing a little bit. He did great with the dirty boxing, hurt Figgy several times, was beating him up, man, in the third round. It was a masterclass. You could even argue it 10-8 in the third round. And even during this fight, Petr Yan showed his athleticism, his ability to get out of the scrambles. I mean, he was springy like always. I do think his defense was a little bit rusty, as we can get into in the next rounds, because he got hit with certain things in his fight that Petr Yan doesn't normally get hit with, or I'm not used to seeing him get hit with, because he's normally defensively sound, very defensively sound. So we go to the fourth round. Again, Petr Yan doing some great work. I mean, he fucking Figgy up. Again, body kicks, body attacks, spinning punches. I mean, he's landing pretty much everything he wants. And again, he's dominating the grappling. And a lot of times, Figgy is initiating the grappling. But at the end of the fourth round, Figgy started surprising me because Figgy seemed like he was getting stronger, much more than usual, as the later rounds came about. At the end of the fourth round, he hits Petr Yan with a straight right out of nowhere and drops Petr Yan. Again, Petr Yan, I hardly ever seen him get dropped. I hardly ever seen him get hurt. He's not a guy, who has lack of defense. So to see him get hit with that was pretty surprising. But at the same time, Figueroa packed a lot of power. We all know that. He's a power puncher. I mean, he caught Petr Yan right on the button with that straight right and drops him. But Petr Yan, he shook back really good. But then Figgy hits Petr Yan with a great body shot as well to follow up a little bit after that right hand that he dropped Petr Yan with, and hurt Yan to the body as well. So he definitely hurt Yan in that fourth round. But you can even argue still that was a Petr Yan round. I mean, he dominated that whole round pretty much up until him getting dropped and then that great body attack by Figgy. Then you move on to the fifth round. Again, all Petr Yan, just dominating the clinch, hitting Figgy with knees, just piecing him up on the feet. I don't think he was ever finna finish Figgy in the fifth round, but he did kind of step on the gas a little bit. Petr Yan, he's not a fan of the judges, obviously, because he felt like he got robbed in that Sean O'Malley fight. And in my opinion, he definitely got robbed. He won that fight clearly to me against Sean O'Malley. But that's another story for a little bit down the line in this video. So long story short, Yan dominates the fifth round. And he takes the decision win. He takes the decision win 50-45 on all 5 scorecards. You could argue maybe Figgy got 1 round, but I think that's about it. I don't really think it's a big deal on the scoring because, again, Figgy clearly lost. It was a dominating performance. Yan looked like he was finna finish Figgy several times in his fight. It was a great fight. And, again, Figgy surprised me with his cardio in the later rounds. I thought, by the 3rd round, it looked like Figgy was fading and Petr Yan, it was only a matter of time before he was going to finish Figgy. But Figgy stood in strong, and he showed that his power definitely translates up to 135, coming from 125, as he was always considered a big 125er anyways. So, good way to hang in there. Shit, get stronger as the fight go on. He just got to go back to the drawing board. But as for Petr Yan, listen, this is where I talk about the 2 possible matchups for Petr Yan. I would say 3, but the 2 other possible matchups I would have considered, besides Sean O'Malley, I get into that, is more than likely going to fight for the title next. Merab and Umar. So Petr Yan already fought Merab. I think that's a rematch that a lot of people would love to see. I know I want to see it. Merab shot for a UFC record total of 49 takedowns. 49 takedown attempts in his fight against Petr Yan. He wanted no parts of Petr Yan on the feet. None whatsoever. But, Petr Yan stuffed 38 of them. Petr Yan stuffed 38 of 49 takedown attempts. But the problem was when Merab did get Petr Yan down, it was super hard to get him off. It was hard. I mean, Petr Yan, he has a great gas tank, but Merab was just shooting and shooting and shooting and shooting. And it tired Petr Yan out, man. It got to a point after a while where Petr Yan, he couldn't even get his offense going. He was just strictly just trying to defend the takedown because Merab just kept shooting. I mean, it definitely wasn't pleasing to watch. That's for damn sure. I mean, that shit was boring. But, Merab did what was best for him because he knew if he stood on the feet with Yan, it wasn't going to be pretty. And I think that goes into Yan, doing a lot of the dirty boxing. You can tell he's been working on his dirty boxing. You can tell he's been working on his clinch striking. Because again, when he fights guys like Umar and Merab, he's probably going to end up in clinch scenarios a lot more often. Believe it or not, though, I think he has a better chance of beating Umar, if I'm being honest. Umar is very well-rounded, but I think Umar relies a little bit more on his striking more so than his grappling, whereas Merab strictly relies on his grappling, his wrestling. I think, in my opinion, though, I think Yan could beat both. I think Yan can do enough to stay on the feet against Merab to piece him up enough to get a victory against him. It'll have to be about game plan. Do you want to be in the clinch more so with Merab? Do you want to initiate the grappling against Merab? Do you want to just come out guns blazing? Do you want to, fight from the outside? They'll have to study Merab a lot, figure out what he likes to do in this scenario and that scenario. It'll have to be a team effort if you want to beat Merab, but he does have the skill set to beat Merab. So, again, back to my point, Merab and Umar will be the only 2 other possible scenarios besides Sean O'Malley, but those 2 are fighting next for the belt. How about in the meantime, in between time, Petr Yan and Sean O'Malley too? Because I do feel like Petr Yan got robbed in that fight. Sean O'Malley did not beat Petr Yan. Sean O'Malley didn't even think Sean O'Malley beat Petr Yan. And that's not the shit on Sean O'Malley. That's not the shit on Sean O'Malley. I like Sean O'Malley. But even he couldn't believe he won that fight. He knew he lost that fight deep down inside. And it was a gift. If anybody with common sense outside of Sean O'Malley fans watched that fight, I think majority, if not all people, would say Petr Yan won that fight. So I think you do the rematch. I think you could do that as a co-main on a pay-per-view card, make it 5 rounds. And I think the winner of that should get the title shot in the winner between Merab Dvalishvili against Umar Nurmagomedov. There you go. Problem solved, UFC. Make that shit happen. Book it, because that's my honest opinion. Because if I'm being honest, I do think those are the best 4 fighters at 135. I do. I think Sean O'Malley, Petr Yan, Umar Nurmagomedov, and Merab Dvalishvili, I think those 4 are the best 135ers in the UFC. But yeah, Petr Yan looked good today, man. Petr Yan looked good. His cardio looked good, but I've seen his cardio look better. Again, that could be because of the 8-month layoff. I think he needs to get another fight up under his belt. That'd be good for him because, again, too, about his defense, he got hit with some shots tonight that, again, that's uncharacteristic. He normally doesn't get hit with. He's normally much more defensively sound than he was today. Even though, again, he put on a great offensive performance, but 8-month layoff. He needs to get another fight under his belt. So I would not be the most confident in him beating Merab or Umar if that's his next fight. If he's going to wait out, I would prefer him to get another fight up under his belt. That'll be best for him. Knock some more of the rust off and then go into the fight for the title against Merab or Umar in peak form and in peak condition. And I think the best matchup for him now, while he waits for the winner of Umar and Merab, is to fight Sean O'Malley. I think that's the best possible matchup. I think that's a fight that everybody want to see again because of the questions and because of the controversy around the decision for them giving it to Sean O'Malley. So I say you book that for a co-main event on a pay-per-view card and make it 5 rounds. And then the winner would no question be undoubtedly the better of the two, and they will go on to fight for the title and try to get their belt back. I'm looking forward to it. I'm a big Petr Yan fan. In my opinion, I think he will be the bantamweight champion again at some point. So let me know what y'all think in the comments. Let me know what y'all think about 135 division, who the best fighters is, and what Petr Yan should do next. This is Max Show MMA here. I'm out. More videos will be dropping soon. Peace.